Morning, counsel.
Good morning, Judge.
What's your name, sir?
My first name is Smee. Oh, sorry. I'm not trying to talk over you, Judge. I think there's a slight lag. So, my first name is Sameehan, Sameehan. My last name is Fatak, Phatah. Yes.
Thank you. And good morning, Mr. Poston.
Good morning.
Your Honor, this is the first time I'm appearing before you, so I don't know if you want me to stick around for the misdemeanors.
That's up to you. I've seen it both ways. Sometimes counsel will sit and write notes down. Sometimes they don't because they're talking to clients. So up to you. The felonies are kind of mixed in between. So
Yeah. So, Your Honor, I was planning on returning once we get to the felonies on the keep separates. If that's okay with the court, then I can run back and talk to her.
sure, that'll be fine.
Thank you, Judge. But if you need me, please let the jail know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Can I get your name, please?
Ms. Alvarez,
Ms. Alvarez, this is a time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on some misdemeanor charges, FTAs for DV, disorderly conduct, assault, and shoplifting. These are out of Pima County Justice Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. In certain instances, if you can't afford one may be appointed for you, ma'am. So in these cases, I'm going to quash the warrants that are previously issued. Ma'am, if I release you today, do you have somewhere you can go?
yes.
Okay, where is that?
It's the raise of my dad.
Okay. All right. So, ma'am, I'm going to release you on your own signature. Your promise to appear. It comes with some conditions. Stay at a good place. Like you said, your dad's place is a good place. No drugs, no alcohol, no acts of domestic violence, no contact with any alleged victims in any of these cases. Your next court date, ma'am, for all three are going to be March 4th at 10 a.m. It's going to be for a case management conference at the Justice Court. So you'll get paperwork on the address and stuff. Make sure you come to court. If you don't, then a warrant can issue for your arrest. All right?
Okay.
You understand, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. You're excused for today. Thank you, Ms. Alvarez.
Look at these. Look at these. Yeah. Well, yeah, she's here another stuff.
Good morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
My name is Brandon Castro Perez.
Good morning, Mr. Castor Perez. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on a charge of assault, which is a misdemeanor out of Pima County Justice Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, in certain instances, one may be appointed for you. So today, sir, if I release you, do you have somewhere you can go?
Uh, yes,
Okay.
I can go to my mom's house.
Okay. All right. So, sir, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear at your next court date. Stay at a good place, like you said, your mom's house. Comes with some orders: no alcohol, no drugs, no contact with the named victim in this case. Do not return to the incident location. Your next court date, sir, is going to be March 21st for an arraignment at 8:30 a.m. at the Pima County Justice Court. We get the paperwork on the address and all that. If you fail to appear for court, warrant can issue for your arrest. Okay? You understand that?
Yes, I think I'm gonna be holding here for a probation violation though.
For felony?
Yes. So I've been here 5 months already, so I think I'm not gonna be released anytime soon, so.
Oh, I see. Okay. My apologies. I did not see that. All right.
It's okay.
Okay, so I will change that. Let me give you a court date tomorrow just so you can get this resolved sooner rather than later.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna put like a $50 bond, cash or secured, and then give you an attorney so that the attorney can help you figure this out sooner rather than later. I'm gonna appoint Mr. Waters.
He's a good attorney.
Okay. All right, so that's tomorrow at 1 p.m. And hopefully Mr. Waters is there and he can help sort out what's going on with the justice court stuff.
Thank you, Miss Your Honor.
Yep, your problem. Your excuse for today, sir. Thank you for letting me know about that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Big area there.
Hello, can I get your name, please?
Rebecca Winnick, Valentina Sandoval.
Ms. Sandoval, this is a time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on a misdemeanor charge of theft out of South Tucson City Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you can't afford one will be appointed for you. It looks like there was a failure to appear warrant issued January of this year. I'm going to quash that warrant. If I release you today, ma'am, do you have somewhere you can go?
Yes, ma'am. I had yesterday, I took a plea yesterday. That's why I was supposed to be released yesterday, I guess. I didn't know about this. We didn't know about this one.
Okay,
I
so
didn't know
we're
about
trying to resolve this right now. So you have somewhere you can go if I release you today?
Yeah, my mom's.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to release you on your promise to appear at your next court date, ma'am, in South Tucson City Court. Your next court date is going to be March 11th at 10 a.m. Comes with some orders, though. No drugs, no alcohol, no contact with the alleged victim. Do not return to the incident location. It's up to you to make sure you get to South Tucson City Court in March. If you don't, warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand, ma'am?
Thank you.
Okay. Your excuse for today. Thank you.
Thank you. What?
Good morning, sir. Can I get your name?
I'm Isaac Genaro Alarcon.
Ms. Alacorn, this is time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on 2 charges today, one from Bisbee Justice Court for driving on a suspended license. That's an old one. And then one out of Pima County Justice Court, also for the same charge, driving on a suspended license. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have that right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you can't afford one may be appointed for you. So, sir, on both cases, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance on your promise to appear, okay? So for the Bisbee Justice Court one, you're gonna have to go to Bisbee and take care of that. But that one, the court date's gonna be March 4th, and you can call them if you can't make it there to change the court date. But right now, Bisbee Justice Court, your next court date will be March 4th at 11 a.m. And then the other one that's in Pima County Justice Court, your next court date is gonna be February 27th at 8:30 a.m. And the condition on that, sir, is going to be no driving without a valid driver's license. And my apologies, that's actually Green Valley Justice Court, not Pima County Justice Court. So the address and phone number will be on your paperwork.
Okay.
And if you don't appear for court, obviously warrant can issue for your arrest, and you don't want that. You understand all that, sir?
Yeah.
All right, you're excused for today, sir. Thank you. Morning, can I get your name, please?
Nicole Carvajal.
Ms. Carbajal, I'm seeing you today on 2 matters, one out of Marana City Court, and then the other one is out of Pima County Justice Court. The Marana one is for drug paraphernalia, and then the Justice Court one is also for drug paraphernalia. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one may be appointed for you in certain instances. So I'm going to be setting some release conditions for you, ma'am. If I release you today, do you have somewhere you can stay?
Yes.
Where is that?
At my mom's.
All right, so ma'am, I am going to release you on your promise to appear for your next future court dates. Stay at a good place, like you said, at your mom's. For the Pima County Justice Court case, your next court date will be March 21st at 8:30 a.m. That's going to be for criminal arraignment. No drugs, no alcohol. Do not return to the incident location.
Okay.
And then for the Marana case, the next court date is going to be March 26th at 10 a.m. Again, no drugs, no alcohol. Don't return to the incident location. It's up to you to make sure you get to court. The address and phone numbers will be on there. If you can't get there, call them so you can change the date and such. If you don't show up, warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand all that?
Yeah.
Excuse for today, Ms. Carbajal.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Sorry, come back, Ms. Carbajal. My apologies. All right, so it looks like you also have city court cases, ma'am. You have a new charge of paraphernalia for city court as well as a failure to appear. Those are both for drug paraphernalia. I'm also going to release you on your promise to appear for those ones as well. Again, no drugs, no alcohol. Don't return to the incident location. All right, your next court date for those are going to be March 24th at 2:30 p.m. And for the new charge, this is also the time set for your arraignment. So you're presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. If you don't show up to court, warrant can issue for your arrest. Trial can go in your absence. If you're convicted at a trial while you're on warrant status and unable to be sentenced within 90 days because you're on warrant, you can lose your right to a direct appeal. So just make sure you show up to court, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're excused now. Thank you, ma'am.
Daniel?
Good morning. Can I get your name?
Daniel Persky?
All right, middle name Marita?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on Pima County Justice Court case of shoplifting, as well as some old Tucson City Court cases for shoplifting, false reporting to law enforcement, drug paraphernalia. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you can't afford one may be appointed for you. So on the Pima County case, ma'am, I am going to release you on your own promise to appear. No drugs, no alcohol, no contact with the alleged victim of the shoplifting. Don't return to the incident location. Your next court date for that is going to be March 21st at 8:30 a.m. at the Pima County Justice Court. And then for the Tucson City Court cases, ma'am, also going to release you on your own promise to appear at your next court date. It's going to be March 24th at 2:30 p.m. in front of Judge Verna. Their paperwork will have the address and the phone numbers. If you can't make it that day that it's scheduled, then make sure you call so you can switch up the date. Again, no drugs, no alcohol. All right, if you don't appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. Trial can go in your absence. Y'all understand the consequences of failing to appear, ma'am?
Yes.
Are you excused for today, Ms. McDaniel?
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
I just wanted to advise you that she does have a federal hold.
Oh, so ma'am, you do have a, oh.
What's the question? Wait, do they need to see her again? So, Amber?
That's me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Miss Amber has a federal hold.
Okay. Ms. McDaniel, if you could take a seat, please. I have a couple more things to tell you. Okay. So it looks like you have a federal hold, which means even if I release you on your own recognizance, because of the federal hold, unless that's lifted, you won't actually be able to get out. So I'm going to appoint an attorney for you for the city court case, so they can help you figure this out sooner rather than later. So that's going to be okay. So the city court case, ma'am, until the federal thing is resolved, it's going to be April 18th, and you'll have an attorney on that so they can help you figure that out sooner rather than later. And then on the justice court case, I'm also going to give you an attorney on the justice court case, like I said, because you're going to be held on this other thing. And that's going to be Douglas Taylor. Okay. But if the federal hold goes away, then you're released on your own. But because of that, I'm giving you attorneys so they can help figure this out for you. Okay, now you're excused, ma'am. Thank you. Can I get your name, please?
Benedict Paula Jr.
Sir, I'm seeing you today for initial appearance for DV assaults in Pima County Justice Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney in certain instances. If you can't afford one may be appointed for you. All right, sir. So I am going to release you today on your own promise to appear. You do have an APO hold, though. All right. So I'm going to release you on this case, but you do have a Superior Court hold. So until that probation matter is taken care of, you can't physically get out of custody. So your next court date on this is going to be a case managed on March 4th at 9:30 a.m. in front of Judge Foster. If you are released, the Superior Court hold goes away. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, no contact with the named victim in this case. Don't go to the victim's residence or work. All right. And if you fail to appear for court and you're out of custody by then, warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand all that, sir?
Yes.
All right, you're excused for today. Thank you. Good morning. Can I get your name, please?
Autumn Rose Inkney.
All right, Ms. Ankney, this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today for Tucson City Court matters of assault, criminal trespass, criminal damage, disorderly conduct, criminal damage, and disorderly conduct. These are all misdemeanors. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney in certain instances. If you can't afford one may be appointed for you. So, ma'am, if I release you today, do you have somewhere you can stay?
Yes, I do.
And where is that?
At my mom's house. Well, my mom's house.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to release you today on your promise to appear at your next court date, which is going to be March 20th at 2 p.m. And stay at a good place like your mom's house. No drugs, no alcohol, no contact with the named victims in this case. Do not return to the incident location. It's order consolidating CM 2404980 and vacating the pretrial in that matter. So this is also the time set for your arraignment because you have some new charges here. You're presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You're ordered to appear for all future court dates. Like I said, the next one's going to be March 20th. If you don't appear for court, warrant can issue for your arrest. Trial can go in your absence. If you're convicted at a trial and you're not there in your warrant status and unable to be sentenced within 90 days, you can lose your right to a direct appeal. So it's in your best interest to show up to court. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. You understand all that, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. You're excused for today.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, even though he's. The Tucson had something about. Okay, that's just okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, or good morning, sir. Can I have your name?
Dominic Giovanni Diaz.
All right, Mr. Diaz, I'm seeing you today for your initial appearance on charges of assault and disorderly conduct, domestic violence offenses out of Tucson City Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you can't afford one may be appointed for you. So, sir, I am going to release you today on your own promise to appear at your next court date. Your next court date is going to be March 21st in Tucson City Court at 9 a.m. in front of Judge Verena for a pretrial. Conditions of your release, though. No drugs, no alcohol. Do not commit any further acts of domestic violence. No contact with the victims in this case. Do not return to their residence. If it was a shared residence and you have property there, you can go back one time with a law enforcement escort, take the court order to the nearest police station or sheriff's office and get some of your things back. Okay. And you're to stay with your Aunt Blanca, not with wherever you were staying before. You're to stay with your aunt. Okay.
Oh, well, Your Honor, that real quick, that's in Douglas. I work here in Tucson.
Okay. Do you have somewhere else that you can stay then locally?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And where is that?
That's. I don't have the address on my head right now. I'm sorry, but it's over by Valencia.
Okay. Is it like a family or friends?
Yeah, family.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Okay, and because these are new charges, these are also the time set for your arraignment. You are presumed innocent. I will enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. Like I said, if you don't show up to court, warrant can issue for your arrest. Trial can go in your absence. If you're convicted at a trial in your absence and unable to be sentenced within 90 days because you're on warrant status, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. So it's in your best interest to show up to court, sir, and make sure you take care of this. You understand all that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're excused for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Richmond?
Hello, can I get your name, please?
Igram Richmond.
All right, Ms. Richmond, this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on a domestic violence criminal damage charge out of Tucson City Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you can't afford one, one may be appointed for you. So in this case, ma'am, I am going to release you on your own recognizance. No drugs, no alcohol, no commit no crime, no further acts of domestic violence, no contact with William Richmond. Your next court date, ma'am, is going to be March 18th at 1:30 p.m. for a pretrial conference in front of Judge Million. Your paperwork will have the date and the address and all that on there. This is also the time set for your arraignment, so you're presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You're ordered to appear for all future court dates. If you don't appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. Trial can go in your absence. If you're convicted at a trial in your absence and unable to be sentenced within 90 days because you're on warrant status, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. So it's in your best interest to take care of this. Make sure you show up to court. You understand all that, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Richmond. You're excused for today.
Thank you.
Your turn up there.
Yeah, public defender.
Yes.
I really haven't had it.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Jason Blaylock.
Mr. Blaylock, this is a time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on a felony charge of possession of drug paraphernalia, disorderly conduct with a weapon, which are felony matters. I'm also here to see you on a Tucson City Court matter for failure to appear theft. We're going to talk about the felony matters first. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. I've reviewed the interim complaint in this matter, the state's recommendation, which is a $5,000 bond. Also review the pretrial services report. Mr. Poston, anything further?
Just noting the high risk of NCA and FTA, Your Honor, as well as the nature of the offense. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And good morning, Sameen.
Good morning, Neil.
All right, and is it Mr. Fatak?
Yes, you're there.
All right.
So Mr. Blaylock seems to have just one failure to appear in the last 2 years. I understand he's 6 on the NCA scale, but 5 on the FTA scale. Your Honor, but given the single failure to appear in the last 2 years, we are asking you to consider release to pretrial services, but if you're not inclined, then $2,000. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to impose a bond of $2,000 in this felony case, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. So if you post that bond or if it's reduced later and you get out, no alcohol, no drugs, no firearms, monitoring or treatment is directed by pretrial, no contact with the alleged victim or returning to the incident location, do not return to any Carl's Jr. locations. Your next court date for the felony matter is going to preliminary hearing on March 3rd at 1:30 p.m. That date may or may not go, so make sure you keep in contact with your attorney. If you fail to appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. All right, on the Tucson City Court matter, sir, for the theft and disorderly conduct, I'm going to release you on your own promise to appear. I'm going to appoint you an attorney, though, with the Tucson City Public Defender, since you're held on the felony matter. No drugs, no alcohol, no contact with the alleged victim in that case. Do not go to the incident location. Your next court date for Tucson City Court is going to be April 18th at 9 a.m. All right. You're ordered to appear for all future court dates. If you don't appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand all that, sir?
So I'm getting relief.
She said it's $2,000.
Yeah, I understand.
Your excuse for today, sir. Thank you.
Judge, I don't know if the court is inclined to do this, but since you've already appointed an attorney on the city case, if you could set $100 bond so you can start earning time credit, but unless the court will not do that, that's fine. I think the
So
attorney
my
can-
understanding from the city court is they don't consider that as much as for Superior Court. We do like the time credit for Superior Court, but they don't really consider that in city court. So his attorney can ask that in city court if they choose.
Oh, thank you. Your Honor, on this next one, we respectfully ask the court to waive the reading of the charges. Thank you.
Morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
My name is Alfred
And your last name?
Tandama.
All right, good morning, Mr. McDonough. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on some felony charges, as well as misdemeanors out of Tucson City Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. For the felony matters, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, and I'll appoint the Tucson City Court, Tucson City Public Defender's Office on the city court matter. We'll talk about the felonies first. I've reviewed the pretrial services report, the interim complaint, state's recommending $250,000. Mr. Poston, I'm quite familiar with the interim complaint. Anything else to add?
No, man.
Brutal nature of the crimes, DNA present. This is not what Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Patel?
Your Honor, we would just like to point out that Alfred has absolutely no felony criminal history whatsoever. So we were requesting release to pretrial services, but if not, in one.
I do believe a high bond is appropriate due to the nature of the offenses. It is ordered $100,000 bond, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms. Monitoring treatment is directed by pretrial. No contact whatsoever with the alleged victims. Do not return to the incident locations. Your next court date, Mr. Mokandama, is going to be March 3rd at 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing. That date may or may not go, so keep in contact with the public defender in case that date changes. If you don't show up to court, warrant. For your Tucson City Court case, sir, that's for threatening, intimidating, assault, and disorderly conduct, which are all misdemeanors. It looks like these are new offenses. Yes, okay. So on these, I am going to order a bond of $100, cash or secured. I already appointed the Tucson City Public Defender's Office. If you do postpone on that matter, no drugs, no alcohol. No contact with the alleged victims in the case. Do not return to the incident location. Your next court date for the city court matters. Is going to be a video review hearing on February 28th at 1:45 p.m. in front of Judge Hale. Because these are new matters, this is also the time set for your arraignment. You're presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You're ordered to appear for all future court dates. If you don't appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. Trial can go in your absence. If you're convicted at a trial in your absence and unable to be sentenced within 90 days because you're on warrant status, You can lose your right to a direct appeal, so it's in your best interest to show up to court. You understand all that, sir? All right, you're excused for today. Thank you. Good morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Bradley Hinton, ENTON.
Middle name Randolph.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Penton. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on felony charges of possession of narcotic drug, criminal damage, endangerment, and possession of drug paraphernalia, as well as a Pima County Justice Court misdemeanor for failure to appear on a theft charge. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney and appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. And you have counsel seated for you for today's purposes. We're going to talk about the felony matters first, sir. I've reviewed the interim complaint, the pretrial services report. The state is recommending $25,000. Mr. Penton, or excuse me, Mr. Poston, anything further to add?
Your Honor, we're looking at 14 priors in felonies. These are 6 out of 6. And we don't know the condition of the individuals that he hurt in this situation. This could have been a fatality, and this person's actions show him to be an inherent risk to the community.
Thank you. Mr. Fatak?
Your Honor, I did review Mr. Penton's criminal history, and it looks like the last one he had was from 2021, so it's been a little bit since his new arrest, since his last conviction, excuse me. Your Honor, I believe an associated DUI inquiry is also on its way, so there is no DUI charge at this time, but I think that's coming too. Your Honor, he has ties to the community because he's lived in Tucson for 10 years. He's asking for one chance on pretrial services release, but if you're not inclined, we would be asking $75,000.
Thank you. Do believe a bond is appropriate here. So Mr. Penton, I'm going to order a bond of $5,000, cash or secured, release to pretrial if posted. Do not drive without a valid driver's license. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms. Monitoring treatment is directed by pretrial. No contact with the alleged victims. Do not return to the incident location. Your next court date for the felony matter is going to be March 3rd at 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing. That date may or may not go, so make sure you keep in contact with your attorney on that case. If you don't appear for court, warrant can issue for your arrest. And then for the justice court matter, Mr. Penton, I'm going to release you on your own promise to appear on that matter. The next court date for that is going to be March 21st at 8:30 a.m. at Pima County Justice Court. Again, no drugs, no alcohol, no contact with alleged victims. Do not return to incident location. Actually, yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay, and like I said before, if you fail to show, warrant can issue for your arrest. If you're in custody by then, the jail should make sure you get seen on that date. All right, you understand all that, sir?
Yes.
Excuse for today. Thank you.
And Your Honor, on the next one too, we're asking that you consider waiving reading of the charges on release.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I was looking at the city court, Mr. Richmond.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Just wait.
Your Honor, the court's right. I got the sequence.
Oh, that's all right.
This is
All right, is this Mr. William? Or is it
William Richmond.
William Richmond? And
Correct.
middle name Arthur?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Good morning, sir. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on Tucson City Court charges of assault and assault, domestic violence, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you can't afford one, one may be appointed for you. So in this case, sir, I am going to release you on your own promise to appear. I'm going to order no drugs, no alcohol. Do not commit any further acts of domestic violence. No contact with your wife, Igerin Richmond. Do not return to her residence. And I understand there's a minor child that was involved here. No unsupervised contact with the minor child in the case. Your next court date, sir, is going to be March 18th at 1:30 p.m. for a pretrial conference in front of Judge Million. This is also the time set for your arraignment, as these are new charges. You're presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You're ordered to appear for all future court dates, including the March 18th or any future court dates. If you don't appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. Trial can go in your absence. And if you are convicted at a trial in your absence and unable to be sentenced within 90 days because you're on warrant status, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. So it's in your best interest to show up to court and make sure you get this taken care of. You understand all that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, your excuse for today then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Can I get your name?
Your Honor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, something's wrong with my camera.
I can hear you. All right, sir. Can I get your name at the jail there?
Jesus Urdis.
Middle name Aurelio? Is that yes?
Or,
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on multiple felony charges today, sir. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. You have counsel seated next to you for purposes of today. We're going to set some release conditions. I've reviewed the pretrial services report, the interim complaint. The state's recommending $200,000 in bond. Mr. Poston, I'm familiar with the facts of the case. Anything further you'd like to add?
Your Honor, this individual isn't just trading in this material. The initial complaint also indicates that he was at least beginning to take this out of just being virtual or on the computer, but reaching out to actual individuals. And apparently he convinced this individual to send him new offensive material, thereby perpetuating the production of more of this offensive material. There is no bond condition that will adequately protect the public unless somebody plans on babysitting him 24/7, 365. The state believes this person is a threat. The state believes this person is providing a demand for an insidious industry. And therefore, the state believes that a $200,000 bond is appropriate.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fatak?
Thank you, Judge. So looks like Mr. Ruiz has absolutely no history. I don't even see any misdemeanor history. He's 23 years old. Looks like he's gainfully employed. But if the court sets conditions which restrict access to the internet, or if the court sets release conditions where Mr. Ruiz is not allowed to have contact with the protected class of victims in this case, I think those are release conditions Mr. Ruiz will be able to follow. That is the reason we are asking the court to consider release to pretrial services. But if the court is inclined to set a bond instead of doing that, given a complete lack of criminal history of any kind and his willingness to abide by other release conditions, we ask that you consider a bond close to $10,000.
All right, thank you. So I will note that the interim does not, the facts are there, but there are no named victims for the alleged charges in the case at this time. So I do believe that release to pretrial is appropriate. Sir, these are serious charges, even though I'm releasing to pretrial. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment is directed by pretrial, no use of any electronic devices that connect to the internet other than for your work, for employment. So that's okay, but other than that, no social media, no other electronic device that connect to the internet, and no unsupervised contact with any minors, whether friends or with family members. All right, sir, so your next court date is going to be March 11th at 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing. That date may or may not go, so make sure you keep in contact with your attorney. If you fail to appear for court, warrant can issue a full arrest. Okay, you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Okay, you're excused for today. Thank you, Mr. Reese. Good morning, ma'am. Can I get your name, please?
Alexandra Terry.
Ms. Terry, this is the time seeing you on charges of assault, domestic violence, criminal damage, as well as disorderly conduct. These are misdemeanors out of Tucson City Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, if you cannot afford one may be appointed for you. I'm going to be setting some release conditions today, ma'am. I believe on the line we have, is it Taven Lewis? Are you on the line, sir? You might have to press *6 if you want to be heard on release conditions.
Oh, hello?
Hi, is this Mr. Lewis?
Hello?
I can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you want to say something about your mom getting released? Mr. Lewis? You might have to press *6 to get unmute. Is he muted? Oh. I think he is muted. Oh, there you go. You can talk now.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My apologies, dude. My apologies, Judge. I believe I cut out for a bit. Do you mind recounting the last 2 minutes? My apologies.
No, so I'm going to set some release conditions for your mom here. Did you want to be heard on release? Do you want her to come back home?
Yes, ma'am. We did. Me and my sister, the other person involved. We do not. We want contact. We do want to have contact with her. We do want to live with her, and we do continue wanting to see her. I have a few things written down if I'm allowed to read those, ma'am.
So I'm just considering release right now, not about what actually happened or what should happen in the future for the case, but just about whether she should get released or not, or whether she can come back home.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Release back home.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, ma'am. So you heard what your son had to say. Okay. So these are serious allegations, but family is family. So I'm going to release you on your promise to appear at the next court date. No consuming any alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not commit any acts of further domestic violence. You can go home at this time. Your next court date, ma'am, is going to be March 24th at 9:30 a.m. in front of Judge Mayhew. That's in Tucson City Court. If you fail to appear for court, you're going to get paperwork, ma'am, with the address and all that and the date and everything. If you fail to appear for court, warrant can issue for your arrest. This is also the time set for your arraignment. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf and deny any allegations filed against you. So, ma'am, that means you have to show up to court, whether it's March 24th or any future court dates. If you don't show up to court, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Trial can go in your absence. If you're convicted at a trial in your absence and unable to be sentenced within 90 days because you're on warrant status, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. So it's in your best interest to make sure you show up to court and take care of this, okay?
Yes.
You understand all those consequences?
Yes.
Okay, you're excused for today, Ms. Terry.
Excuse me, Judge. I do apologize. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Lewis.
Yes, ma'am. We'll see a lot of come back. Who should I speak to about what will happen in the future?
You'll have to talk to the prosecutor's office, the Tucson City Prosecutor's Office.
All right. Tucson City Office. And I can just go online and just look up Tucson City.
Yeah, there should be a phone
Office.
number. There should be a phone number for them. You can call them.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, and she's allowed to come home, correct?
Yeah, she's allowed to go home. She'll be released later today.
All right. Okay. Do I hang up or?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Good morning. Can I get your name, please?
Alicia Ballesteros.
Ballesteros, I'm seeing you today. I'm out of Pima County Justice Court for some misdemeanors. There's some failure to appear shoplifting, criminal trespass, as well as some new charges for domestic violence, disorderly conduct, 3 counts. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. in certain instances, if you can't afford one, one may be appointed for you. I'm going to appoint Douglas Taylor to represent you in these cases. Ma'am, I'm going to order a bond of $100 on both cases. So there was a warrant originally issued in the amount of 100. So I'm just going to honor that bond of $100. It's cash or secured. If you post that bond, ma'am, no drugs, no alcohol, do not commit further acts of domestic violence, no firearms, no contact with Beatrice Godoy Rodriguez, no unsupervised contact with any minor victims. Your next court date, ma'am, is going to be tomorrow, actually, February 20th at 1 p.m. in front of Judge Steele for an arraignment. All right. If you post bond before that, it's up to you. Make sure you get to court tomorrow at Pima County Justice Court. If not, the jail will make sure you get seen that day and you'll have an attorney tomorrow. And if you don't show up to court, warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand all that, ma'am?
Yes.
You have a
The
question?
only thing I was doing was cooking. I wasn't doing nothing wrong.
Your Honor, I talked.
Okay. All right. You can tell your attorney tomorrow, Mr. Taylor, tomorrow. All right. Oh, okay. Actually, I'm going to give you a new attorney. I'm going to give you Christian Salter instead. So you'll see Mr. Salter tomorrow. All right. Your excuse for today, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Ballesteros. Oh, are you going to? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right. Good morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Juan Morales.
Juan Jose Morales Jr.?
Yeah.
Okay. I think your dad is in court right now. He's just here for your support. All right. So this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on some new charges out of Pima County Justice Court for disorderly conduct, domestic violence, 2 counts, as well as interfering with judicial proceedings, which means you've violated a prior court order about having contact with somebody. All right, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm going to appoint Douglas Taylor to represent you. Oh, sorry, never mind. I'm going to appoint Christian Salter to represent you. Oh. All right, so it looks like you also have a hold from Pima County Superior Court for felony matter, as well as some other justice court cases as well. All right, so in this case, sir, I am going to impose a bond of $500, cash or secured. If you post that bond and you're out on other things, do not commit any further acts of domestic violence, no firearms, no drugs, no alcohol, no contact with the alleged victims. Your next court date is actually going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. for a DV arraignment, and you'll meet your attorney, Mr. Salter, then. If you post bond on everything and you're out by then, if you don't show up, warrant can issue for your arrest. So make sure you keep in contact with Mr. Salter. Make sure you show up to court. You understand all that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, excuse for today. Thank you.
The one that's next is the Spanish speaker.
Do we have the interpreter on the Teams?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
El campeón. Está bien.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Buenos días, señor, le dice la juez.
Buenos días, Juan. Buenos días.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Can I get your name, please?
¿Me puede dar su nombre completo, por favor?
Octavio del Castillo Torres.
Octavio del Castillo Torres.
¿Ah?
Mr. Del Castillo Torres, this is the time set for your initial appearance.
Señor del Castillo Torres, está usted aquí para la comparecencia inicial.
I'm
Okay.
seeing you today on a charge of interfering with judicial proceedings.
El día de hoy usted está compareciendo ante mí porque tiene una acusación de interferir con el proceso judicial.
Sí.
Yes.
This is a domestic violence offense, a misdemeanor in Tucson City Court.
Y se considera un delito de violencia doméstica, es un delito menor que salió a raíz de Tucson City Court.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Usted tiene el derecho de permanecer callado. Todo lo que diga puede y será utilizado en su contra.
You have the right to hire your own attorney. In certain instances, one may be appointed for you.
Usted tiene el derecho de contratar a su propio abogado y en ciertas circunstancias se le puede asignar uno.
So today, sir, I am going to release you on your promise to appear for your next court date.
Entonces, el día de hoy, señor, usted va a quedar libre bajo palabra de honor de que se va a presentar a su próxima audiencia judicial.
No drugs, no alcohol.
Usted no debe de consumir alcohol ni sustancias ilícitas.
Do not commit any acts of domestic violence.
No debe de cometer ningún acto adicional de violencia doméstica.
You have an active order of protection with Minerva del Castillo.
Usted tiene una orden de protección vigente en contra de Minerva Castillo.
So absolutely no contact with her.
Usted no debe de tener ningún tipo de contacto con ella.
Do not return to her workplace or her residence.
Usted no debe de regresar al lugar donde ella trabaja, ni tampoco al lugar donde ella vive.
And also abide by any conditions of that active order of protection.
Y usted debe de obedecer cualquier condición que se describe en la orden de protección.
Your next court date, sir, is going to be March 18th at 1:30 p.m.
Su próxima audiencia va a ser el 18 de marzo a la 1:30.
If you fail to appear for court, a warrant can issue for your arrest.
Y si usted no comparece a esa audiencia, se puede emitir una orden.
This is also the time set for your arraignment.
Y también este es el momento para la lectura de los cargos.
If you're presumed innocent, I'm going to enter not guilty pleas for you.
Usted se presume que es inocente y voy a presentar una declaración de no culpable a beneficio de usted.
You're ordered to appear for all court dates, including the March 18th.
A usted se le ordena comparecer a todas sus audiencias, incluyendo la del 18 de marzo.
Like I said earlier, if you don't appear, a warrant can issue. Trial can go without you.
Y como le dije anteriormente, si usted no se presenta a su audiencia, se puede emitir una orden para que lo vuelvan a arrestar y también se puede proceder a juicio aunque usted no esté presente.
If you're convicted at a trial in your absence and not able to be sentenced within 90 days, you can lose your right to a direct appeal.
Y si usted no se presenta en el juicio, lo hallan culpable, usted y no le pueden imponer la pena de 90 días porque no se presentó, usted pierde el derecho a apelar el caso.
So it's in your best interest to show up to court and make sure you take care of this, okay?
Señor, entonces a usted le conviene presentarse a sus audiencias y arreglar esto. ¿Está bien?
Sí.
Yes.
You understand the consequences of failing to show up to court?
¿Usted entiende las consecuencias de no presentarse a sus audiencias?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, you're excused for today. Thank you.
Muy bien, se
Sí.
puede retirar por el día de hoy. Gracias.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
And Your Honor, may the interpreter be excused?
Can we check with the jail to make sure there's no one else that needs an interpreter?
Yes, he was our only Spanish
Okay.
speaker for this morning's court.
All right, thank you, Madam Interpreter. You're excused for today.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You too.
I was talking in the courtroom down.
Good morning, sir. Can I get your name, please? All right, Mr. Abdul-Jabbar, this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on County Superior Court post-indictment matters for domestic violence, aggravated harassment, and criminal trespass, 2 counts. Those are felonies. Also seeing you on some misdemeanors out of Tucson City Court for domestic violence, contempt of court, and criminal trespass. And I believe some other failures to appear misdemeanors and drug paraphernalia. All right, so you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you on the felony matters. On the city court, I'm appointing the City Public Defender's Office. We're going to talk about the felony matters first. Also looks like you have an adult probation hold out of Pima County as well as Maricopa County. So until you resolve those other matters, you may not get released even if I release you today. So you have those other matters you have to take care of, the adult probation for Pima County as well as Maricopa County. All right, but I'm not seeing you on those today. I'm just seeing you on these new charges. All right. I reviewed the pretrial services report. State's recommending $5,000. Mr. Poston, anything further?
State submits on the written record.
All right, thank you. Mr. Patak?
Thank you, Judge. As the court noted, Mr. Abdul-Jabbar does have a probation hold, and the new matter, the warrant on the new matter is for Class 6 felonies. I know Your Honor issued this warrant and recommended a $5,000 bond. So we're asking you to consider, given the probation hold, we're asking you to consider a $8,000 bond for time credit purposes. And we're asking for a nominal bond on the Maricopa County warrant for time credit purposes as well. And the remaining matters too, we are asking for a nominal bond for time credit purposes.
Okay, and just to be clear, I'm not actually seeing Mr. Abdul-Jabbar on the other warrants. I'm just noting that those are out there right now. Okay. So I am going to impose a bond of $5,000 on the post-indictment matter, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial, no acts of domestic violence, no contact with the alleged victims, do not return to the incident location. Mr. Abdul-Jabbar, your next court date is going to be an arraignment on February 26th at 1:30 p.m. So that's next week. And is also ordered quashing the warrant that was previously issued. Okay. And if you don't show up to your arraignment, sir, whether that's if you're in jail, the jail will make sure you get seen. If you postpone and you're out and your other holds are lifted, it's up to you to make sure you get to the arraignment. Okay, and on the city court matter, sir, I'm going to impose a bond of $100 because these were FTAs. That's going to be cash. If you posted and the other holds are lifted, no drugs, no alcohol. Do not commit any further acts of domestic violence. Do not have any contact with the alleged victim. Do not return to the incident location or victim's address. I haven't said so already, appointing the Tucson City PD's office to represent you. And your next court date for this one is going to be a video review hearing on February 28th at 1:45 p.m. And again, if you're still in custody by then, the jail will make sure you get seen that day. Looks like you have some new city court matters, so I have to arraign you on those. You're presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You're ordered to appear for all future court dates. If you don't appear, warrant can issue, trial can go in your absence. If you're convicted at a trial in your absence and unable to be sentenced within 90 days because you're on warrant status, you may lose your right to a direct appeal. So it's in your best interest to keep in contact with your attorneys and show up to court. You understand all that, sir?
Yes.
All right. Excuse for today. Thank you. Morning. Can I get your name, please?
Arturo Nine?
Middle name, Angel?
Yes.
Morning, Mr. Anaya. This is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on felony charge of shoplifting, as well as some Tucson City Court matters. Looks like it's a failure to appear on a petition to revoke probation. So we'll talk about your Tucson City Court matters in a little bit, but we'll talk about the felonies first. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. We're going to set some release conditions for you, sir. I've reviewed the pretrial services report, the interim complaint. The state is recommending $5,000. Mr. Poston, anything further to add?
State submits in the written record, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Patak?
Thank you, Judge. Reviewing the interim, I'm going to challenge it for probable cause. All it says is that they found a suspect. It's conclusory because it says he was using an artifice with the intent to shoplift and bypassed every register. And then it says he made admissions to him concealing the items inside his backpack and knowing concealing merchandise. It doesn't make any sense, the last sentence.
I do note your argument, sir, but I do find there's probable cause that the items were put into a backpack, which would be the artifice, and bypassing every register. So I think there's PC for the shoplifting here.
Okay, Judge, then as to release conditions, we would be asking, since this is a property crime and because Mr. Anaya, I'll get one second to this credits. I understand he's 6 on 6 on the scale, but given that he has a complete lack of felony criminal history, we're asking to put one more chance on pretrial services. But if you're not inclined, no more than $1,000. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I do believe that the release to pretrial is appropriate on the felony matter, sir, so I'm going to release you to pretrial on the felony case. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial, no contact with the alleged victim, do not return to the incident location. Your next court date on the felony matter, Mr. Anaya, is March 11th at 1:30 p.m. That's a preliminary hearing. That date may or may not go, so make sure you keep in contact with the public defender. You're ordered to appear for all future court dates, so if you don't appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand all that, sir?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about your city court stuff. One moment. All right, sir. So this is for the city court matters. I'm going to arraign you on the petition to revoke probation. All right, these are for shoplifting, paraphernalia, shoplifting, failure to appear, and the conditions of noncompliance, failure to attend the CSM intake, and failure to complete a substance abuse evaluation and treatment. And this was based on having been placed on probation in Tucson City Court dating 12/17/24. And the prosecutor alleged that on 12/31/24 that you committed these violations. So I'm going to enter not guilty, please, regarding these allegations to revoke probation. You're going to be in front of Judge Crenshaw in Tucson City Court for a video review hearing. The next court date you have in Tucson City Court is going to be on March 20th at 2:30. All right, so I am releasing you today, sir. So you have to make sure you show up to both the city court stuff as well as to the Superior Court felony stuff. You understand all that?
Yes,
All right, your excuse for today.
thank you.
Great.
Morning, can I get your name, please?
Hi, Buffoon.
Mr. Buffoon, this is the time set for your initial appearance on a felony matter, a post indictment for theft of a credit card, sort of quashing the warrant. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. I reviewed the interim complaint or not interim complaint, excuse me. I've reviewed the pretrial services report. The warrant had previously issued an amount of $500. Looks like the state is also recommending $500. Mr. Poston, anything further?
State submits.
All right, thank you. Mr. Patak?
Your Honor, Frank is asking for one more chance for release to pretrial services. This is a non-violent offense. It is also, I believe, a property crime. Judge, he did admit to pretrial that he knew a warrant went out, but for some reason didn't have the date right. So for that reason, we are asking you to give him one more chance on pretrial services release, and he has assured me he will show up to court. I've written down the Superior Court's address for him. So we are asking for one more chance, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. And I will note that, Mr. Buffoon, you have a adult probation hold. I don't know if you've seen on that yet, but I'll note that he is.
My apologies, Judge. I did not see that. We are asking for a nominal bond. That's
So I am going to order a bond of $500, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms. Monitoring treatment is direct by pretrial. So, sir, you have two things going on. You have the probation as well as pretrial, so you have to report to both of them until they tell you otherwise. No contact with the alleged victim of the credit card. Not return to instant location.
Well.
All right, and your next court date for this is going to be February 26th at 1:30 p.m. That's for an arraignment. If you post bond on this and the adult probation hold is lifted, then it's up to you to make sure you show up to court. If you don't, again, warrant can issue. All right, so make sure you take care of these, keep in contact with the attorney. You understand all that, sir?
Yes.
Excuse for today. Thank you.
Hello.
Morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Michael Andrew Carvajal.
Mr. Carbajal, I'm seeing you on multiple matters today. We have a felony matter for possession of narcotic drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia. We also have a Ironwood Justice Court case for criminal damage, which is a misdemeanor. And we have a number of failures to appear out of Tucson City Court. Looks like they're all for paraphernalia, crime trespass, being at the park when it's closed. We're going to talk about the felony first. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. Setting some release conditions. Mr. Posted, the state's recommending $5,000. Is this a potentially a steps eligible defendant?
No, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wanted to add, Mr. Poston?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fatak?
Thank you, Judge. I don't know what the new rule is, but I was told that everyone is trained and given a small court date, but I understand it's a diversion program, so the state doesn't have to offer it. Your Honor, given that this is a simple possession case and Mr. Carbajal has just one prior felony conviction from 2017, it looks like, we're asking for to consider releasing him to pretrial services. I also acknowledge he's 6 on 6 on the scale. So if you are planning on holding him, we just ask that the bond be paid. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to order a $500 bond on this matter, released to pretrial if posted. It's going to be cash. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms. Monitoring treatment is directed by pretrial. Do not go to instant location. Next court day is going to be March 3rd for a preliminary hearing at 1:30 p.m. That date may or may not go, sir, so make sure you keep in contact with your attorney. If you post your bonds and you're out of custody, it's up to you to make sure you make that court date. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Ironwood Justice Court case as well. It is ordered quashing that warrant. One moment. All right, sir. So on the Ironwood case, I'm going to order quashing the warrant. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance on that one. That one, sir, the next court date is March 4th. If you're out of custody by then, it's up to you to make sure you get there. If you are still in custody, the jail will notify them to let them know that you're still in custody in Pima County. Okay, for the Tucson City Court cases, sir, you have a number of these. All failures to appear dating from 2023 all the way to 2025. So for these, I am going to order a bond of $500 cash. I'm going to appoint the Tucson City Public Defender's Office to represent you on that matter. No drugs, no alcohol. Not returned to the incident locations. Your next court date for the Tucson City Court matters is going to be February 28th at 1:45 p.m. in front of Judge Hale. And if you're still in custody by then, the jail will make sure you get seen that day. All right, do you understand all those, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, you're excused for today. Thank you. All right, good morning, sir. Can I get your name, please?
Robert Casper, Your Honor.
Morning, Mr. Casper. This is the time set
Hi.
for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on multiple matters today, sir. We have a felony shoplifting, as well as Tucson City Court matters for failure to appear, disorderly conduct, criminal trespass, and justice court cases for failure to appear, shoplifting as well. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney. For the felony matters, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. For the city court, I'm going to appoint the Tucson City Public Defender's Office to represent you. And then for the Pima County Justice Court, I'm going to appoint Adam Waters to represent you. We're going to talk about the felony matter first, sir. So you're going to have attorneys on everything. We're going to talk about the felony matter first. Looks like the state is recommending $5,000. Mr. Poston, anything further to add?
State submits.
All right, thank you. Mr. Katak?
So, Your Honor, I just spoke with Mr. Casper. He reports to me that he has a medical appointment coming up for his spinal injury that he told me I can share with the court. The other thing, Judge, is this is a nonviolent offense. So, based on my conversations with Mr. Casper, he is asking me to request the court to release him to the supervision of pretrial services, and he's told me not to make a bond recommendation, so I would.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Casper, I sympathize with the situation of the medical appointment, but because of the so many failures to appear on the other matters that range from earlier in 2024 all the way up till even January of this year, I can't release you. I don't think that's appropriate this time. So I'm going to order a bond on the felony matter of $1,000, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms. Monitoring treatment is directed by pretrial. No contact with the alleged victim. Do not return to the incident location. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on March 3rd at 1:30 p.m. That date may or may not go, so make sure you keep in contact with the attorney. If you don't appear for court, a warrant can issue for your arrest. All right, so let me talk about the justice court cases. So for these as well, I'm going to order a bond of $500, cash or secured. Again, no contact with any alleged victims of the shoplifting, no drugs, no alcohol, not return to the incident location. Again, you're going to have an attorney for all of these. Your next court date for justice court is actually going to be tomorrow, the 20th, at 1 p.m.
So this one is a separate.
Okay. Cool.
All right, it's going to be 500 on all the shoplifting and the misdemeanors out of justice court. Okay, and then for the city court cases,
Yeah.
also going to order a bond of $500, cash or secured. Appointing the Tucson City Public Defender's Office. Your next court date for that is going to be a video review hearing on February 28th at 1:45 p.m. If you post bond and are released, again, no drugs, no alcohol. Do not return to the incident locations. No contact with any victims. Yes, I think these are all older matters. None of them are new. So, okay. All right, you understand all that, sir? If you fail to appear for court and you're out of custody, it's up to you to make sure that you show up. And if you don't appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand all those consequences, sir?
Yes, sir.
The release for, or your excuse for today. Thank you. Morning, sir. Can I get your name?
Stephen Cunningham.
Mr. Cunningham, this is the time set for your initial appearance. Sorry, is your middle name Francis?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm seeing you today, sir, for possession of narcotic drugs for sale, as well as drug paraphernalia. These are felonies. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm setting some release conditions. I've reviewed the pretrial services report, the interim complaint. State's recommending 25,000. Mr. Poston, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Fatak?
Your Honor, I did talk to Mr. Cunningham before court today. We understand. I have just confirmed with the court, just confirmed with the jail that he does not have a probation hold yet. We understand the new charges are relatively serious. However, Mr. Cunningham just reported to me he has a custody hearing coming up, I believe, in juvenile court. It's associated with the dependency. So if he is going to lose custody to his child if he's not able to make it to that. So, Your Honor, we were asking you to consider giving him one chance on pretrial services. He will abide by the court's conditions and also contact his probation officer as soon as he gets out, if you were to do that. But Judge, if you're not inclined to release him to pretrial services, Mr. Cunningham tells me there's really no bond he can afford. But if it's somewhere close to $1,000, he may be able to pay that to bond out, so that'll make sure that he comes back to court. He also has a job that he cannot afford to lose, is what he reports to me, Judge. So, and he also potentially faces eviction, is what he's telling me, if he is not able to make his. So for all those reasons, Judge, we're asking you to consider release. But if you're not inclined to bond no more than just go ahead. Sorry, Judge, something was going on in the background. So we're asking for a $1,000 bond if you're absolutely not inclined and you need some assurances that you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fatak. I do sympathize with the situation, but given the allegations here, I do believe a bond is appropriate. In terms of the juvenile court hearing, there may be ways to have you appear via video or via phone. You could talk to the jail about that in terms of making a telephonic appearance or video appearance for juvenile court. Okay, so we can ask the jail about that. All right, I am going to impose a bond in this case of $5,000, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted, no drugs or alcohol, no firearms whatsoever, monitoring and treatment as directed by pretrial, and if you report to the adult probation if you are released. All right, your next court date, sir, is going to be a preliminary hearing on March 3rd at 1:30 p.m. That date may or may not go, so make sure you keep in contact with your attorney. In order to appear for all future court dates, if you don't appear, warrant can issue for your arrest. You understand us? Do you understand all that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Your fees for today. Thank you, Mr. Cunningham.
Your Honor, I can't quite make 5,000. Is there any way we could do 4? I could get 4 together if my PO is not going to put a probation hold on me. I could get 4 together.
My decision has been made, sir.
Sure.
All right. Can I get your name, please?
Jeffrey Millen.
And middle name is Isaiah.
Yes.
So, sir, I'm seeing you today on multiple different charges. We have a Maricopa County warrant for narcotic drugs and drug paraphernalia. We have Pima County new charges of narcotic drugs and drug paraphernalia. We have a number of misdemeanors out of Pima County. Actually, we have post-indictment Pima County Superior Court for narcotic drugs and drug paraphernalia. Tucson City Court, failure to appear for drug paraphernalia. Marana City Court for shoplifting, failure to appear. Additional Tucson City Court failures to appear for liquor in public and criminal trespass. Pima County Justice Court for failure to appear drug paraphernalia. This is the time set for your initial appearance in all these cases, sir. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. In certain instances, if you can't afford one may be appointed for you. For any of the felony matters in Pima County, the Pima County Public Defender's Office is appointed at this time. All right, we're going to start with the felonies first, sir, and then we'll go by one by one on the other matters. All right. So, Mr. Miller, on the felony charges of narcotic drugs and paraphernalia in Pima County, looks like the state is recommending, Mr. Poston, is that $10,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else you wanted to add, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Patah?
Your Honor, so looking at the Pimcat Services report, it looks like he has 3 separate matters that he is awaiting arraignment on. I just want to be careful. I don't know if it's 2 or 3. I believe it's 2. And then the one in Maricopa is also a pre-indictment case that lists $100 bond. So all I would be asking is for the court to quash the arraignment warrants and set. One of the warrants does have a $10,000 bond for some reason, and the other one also, which has similar charges, has a $500 bond. So if you were inclined to hold Mr. Miller today, we ask that you set $500 bonds on both the arraignment matters so he can get time credit. I believe if you're going to set a bond on the Maricopa one too, we ask that the $100 bond be set so he earns time credit, and nominal bonds on the Tucson City Court, Marana Municipal Court, and the Pima County Justice Court matters too, so he can hopefully finish these cases before being released. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I will order quashing the warrants for the felony matters in Pima County. The bond will be $500. All Pima County Superior Court bonds will be concurrent. Cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms. Monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial. The next court date for the post-indictment matters in Pima County is going to be a criminal arraignment on February 26th at 1:30 p.m. All right, so for the Maricopa County Superior Court, All right, the bond is going to be $1,000 cash, and that one, your next court date is going to be a fugitive warrant review hearing on March 19th, or excuse me, that one is going to be a review hearing in Pima County Justice Court on March 19th at 9 a.m. Basically, it's a status just to see what's going on, to see if the Pima County stuff is all resolved. If it's all resolved, then Maricopa County may come get you, but otherwise, you'll still be taking care of the Pima County stuff first.
Sorry to interrupt you, Judge. Did you say 1,000?
Yeah.
Judge, I know the court can make its own bond determination, but the Maricopa judge is asking for 100, I believe, on the warrant. So
I did not see that. I thought there was no amount listed. Yeah, Maricopa County did not have an amount listed from what I see.
I saw that in the pretrial services report, Judge, under the assessment section. But it's okay. I mean, I defer to the court.
So it looks like that was back in 2023.
Okay, and the new warrant doesn't have a bond. Okay,
Correct,
that's huge. Okay.
All right, so the Marana City Court. All right, so I'm going to appoint you an attorney, sir, on the Marana City Court matter, just so you can, because you're in custody for the other thing, so you can get this resolved sooner rather than later. It's going to be Janet Altschuler is going to be your attorney. All right, and the next, actually, it's going to be today. So I don't know if you're going to be seen by video or not, but that's going to be a case management. Okay, non-video. So so the attorneys will talk about it, but that's today, February 19th at 12 p.m. Bond amount's going to be $50 on that one. No contact with the victim. Do not return to the incident location. No drugs, no alcohol. And then the Pima County Justice Court for the drug paraphernalia, that's also going to be a $50. Cash or secured. And that one, the next court date is tomorrow, February 20th at 1 p.m. I'm going to appoint the Adam Waters to represent you in that case. No drugs, no alcohol. Okay, now the city court stuff. All right, order bond of $100 cash. Appointing the Tucson City Public Defender's Office. No drugs, no alcohol. Not returning to contact with any victim. All right, sir. So you have a lot of stuff going on. You have attorneys on everything. Keep in contact with the attorney. Make sure you get these taken care of. And of course, if you respond on everything and you're released, it's up to you to make sure you get to court and take care of these. And of course, warrant can issue for your arrest if you don't show up. You understand all that?
Yes, ma'am.
Your excuse for today. Thank you. Can I get your name, sir?
Saldana.
Mr. Saldana, this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you today on some felony matters: theft of means of transportation, burglary of the third degree, unlawful flight from law enforcement, possession of dangerous drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia, and also seeing you for a fugitive matter for vehicle theft out of Colorado. We're going to talk about the Pima County matters first. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you. We're going to be talking about your release conditions, sir. Review the pretrial service report, the interim complaint. State's recommendation is $7,500. Mr. Poston, anything further?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you, Mr. Poston. Mr. Katak?
Thank you, Judge. So it looks like Mr. Saldana, the new case, since we don't have all the disclosure, there may or may not be a defense, but he did indicate to law enforcement that he was legitimately in possession of the vehicle after a alleged purchase. So the defense will obviously need more disclosure to fully understand the transaction. As to the Colorado matter, Judge, I believe it's a fugitive warrant, so the FLD is appointed, and it doesn't list a bond amount. So we were asking you to consider releasing Mr. Saldana today to pretrial services supervision on both matters. That way he can come back to Superior Court on the fugitive warrant case and also on the new interim complaint out of Pima County. And that's because, Judge, this is a nonviolent property offense, and he seems to be only 3 on 6 on the NCA and FTA scales. Doesn't have any prior violent convictions or any FTAs in the last 2 years, according to the pretrial report. So those are the reasons we're asking for release, but we understand if you're not inclined, we just ask that the court set $500 bonds each on the Pima case as well as the Colorado case.
All right, thank you. Do you believe a bond is appropriate in this matter? I'm going to order a bond of $7,500, cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial, no contact with the alleged victims, do not go to the incident location. You must not leave Pima County without further order of the court, sir. I know you have ties in Colorado. You can't leave Pima County until further order by the court at this time. Next court date for the Pima County case is March 3rd for preliminary hearing at 1:30. That day may or may not go, so please keep in contact with a legal defender. It's up to you to make sure you show up for court. If you're in custody, then the attorney will make sure, and the jail will make sure you get shown up that day. Okay, and then for the other matter, there is no bond amount listed. However, it does say cash only, and it says it's extraditable. So for the fugitive warrant matter, I'm going to order a bond of $10,000 cash pretrial if bond is posted. Again, no drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment, legal defenders appointed. Again, must not leave Pima County without further order of the court. The next court date for the fugitive warrant matter is going to be February 24th at 2:30 p.m. at the Pima County Superior Court. The jail will make sure you get seen at that time. Unless you post bond, then it's up to you to make sure you show up. All right, and if you don't show up, you don't want further warrants getting issued. So you understand all that, sir?
Yeah, so cash only.
Just the Colorado one, he's asking me if the court said cash or secured or cash only.
Cash only for the Colorado one.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Can I get your name?
Jordan Young.
Mr. Young, this is the time set for your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a new felony charge for taking contraband into a correctional facility. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. We're going to be setting some release conditions. Can either counsel tell me if Mr. Young is in custody on other matters? Because I don't see that he is, but just wanted to check.
Record, is he being held on another matter? Gordon Young?
He's not the combination.
Not being held. Judge, the jail staff is telling me he's not being held on anything else as of now.
Okay, thank you. All right, looks like the state's recommending 1,500. Mr. Poston, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Patak?
Your Honor, given the complete lack of felony criminal history, and I don't see any misdemeanors either, we are asking for release to pretrial services, and because he's not being held on anything else.
Mr. Young, if I release you today, do you have somewhere you can go?
Yes,
Where would you go?
it's my parents.
Okay, is that local in Tucson?
Yeah,
All right, sir, I'm going to release you to the third-party custody of pretrial services. No drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial. All right, your next court date is going to be March 11th at 1:30 p.m. That's a preliminary hearing. That date may or may not go, and you're out of custody, so make sure you keep in contact with your attorney because that date may change, and you want to make sure you show up to any future court dates. If you don't show up to court, a warrant may issue for your arrest. You understand that, sir?
yes. Okay.
All right, you're excused for today.
All right.
Good morning. Can I get your name, please?
Morning, Young.
Ms. Young, I'm seeing you today on felony charges of possession of narcotic drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of dangerous drugs. These are all felony matters. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you anything you say can and will be used against you. Mr. Poston, I see the recommendation is dismissal.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So what that means, ma'am, is the state is going to dismiss this case. So you're released and there's no future court dates.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
They can refile though. If the
They fucked up the. Do I go this way?
Yeah.
I guess that was the last one, right?
That was the last one.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Poston. Thank you, Mr. Fataf.